As a person, I'm not talking about as a professional, I recognize it's hard to separate Rod Stewart, the professional, from Rod Stewart, the person. But as a person, what do you consider to be your biggest strength?
As a person, determination. I think determination has always gotten me through since I was a little kid. You know, wasn't particularly bright at school, but I didn't miss any days at school. I was never absent. I was willing to learn, and determination got me through. Determination got me into this music business. Determination has got me where I am today, and that probably is my biggest strength. You know, I think I'm a very loyal friend. I think I'm a very loving husband, and hopefully a good dad, because I've got 8 kids. So I have to be a different dad to each one of them, because they're all, you know, the oldest is in her 50s and the youngest is 7. So I can't be the same dad to the 7-year-old as I can to the 25-year-old.
Well, since you bring up the subject, correct me if I'm wrong, you have 8 children, 3 marriages, but 8 children with 5 women. The question is, it's got to leave wounds. I'm talking about with yourself, never mind the children. And when you go through 3 marriages and go through the kind of life you've had, what's the biggest wound on you?
You know, it's so difficult. You know, the one marriage that fell apart, and Rachel, she left me, and I didn't have the tools to deal with it because no one had ever left me. You know, I was always the one who left, and I always left in a very abrupt way, which is something I'm not proud of at all. But, you know, when she left, I was hurting for 6 months. And it's life. It happens, you know, just happens. Get on with it. But I can't think of any lasting wounds. With my kids, maybe, you know, Sean and Kimberly, because the marriage fell apart and I didn't see them. I was in the early 1980s, I was in debt for about $1 million. You know, I owed $1 million. My accounts had been handled terribly. So I had to go out on tour and work my ass off. So they didn't see much of me. And we've talked about it. Everything's cool now. In fact, they're both with me today here in New York. Everything's okay now. Right. But as scars, no, not really.
Well, I'll ask you what your biggest strength was. What do you consider personally your biggest personal weakness? Biggest regret, let's put it that way.
Biggest regret? Not spending enough time with my dad when I left in 1975 to come and live in Hollywood. And although I used to keep in contact with him, phone him up, you know, 3 times a week, I wish I'd have just had a little bit more time with him.
Well, speaking of more time, you in effect bought more time because you beat cancer. Can we talk about that? What happened? What happened and how did it affect you?
It was a routine inspection. I'm very, very health conscious. I mean, I had blood tests 5 times a year. So you might call me paranoid, you know, I'm a hypochondriac, but I believe in making use of modern day medicine. Anyway, so I went for a medical and they found a little polyp there and they cut it out.
That's
so
a bad place to have it for a singer.
Yeah, the worst thing you can have. It was on the thyroid, so it was just above the vocal cords.
And how long did it take you to recover?
Oh, forever. You know, I thought, this is it, it's all over. I couldn't speak, I could not alone sing, you know, but because they cut you right through here. So it cuts through all the muscles, all the memory is lost for singing. So it took me about 7 or 8 months before I could start singing again.
Well, I want you to imagine with me, we're having a memorial service for Rod Stewart. And we want to play one tune of his that he especially wants played. So at your memorial service, what one tune among others, we're going to play a lot, would you want to be played?
Oh, probably I would have danced all night, but my wheelchair sprung a puncture. That's one of my favourites. I'm kidding. Probably.
I just hope so.
There's a song on the album called Farewell, on this new album, which is about one of my dear close friends who passed away a few years ago. And I spent the 60s and 70s and the 80s with him. And it's just so gorgeous. I would like that song. Farewell.
So long. So long. I didn't ask you, what do you fear? I mean, as a person, what do you fear?
Ill health, I suppose, is my, as I said, I'm a bit of a hypochondriac. That's about it, really. I mean, I think we all have a certain fear in us. Our age, our days are numbered. And we don't want it to happen too soon. And we try to look after ourselves as best we can. But fear, no, I've got no fear of passing on, really. I have a big fear that Celtic may get beat today, my football team, by the champions from Greek at 2:45, Dan. Other than that, no fears.
Well, you anticipated my question, which was going to be, do you fear death? But you said you don't really fear it. I suppose we all fear pain, not wanting to go through pain.
Yeah.
But you don't have a particular fear of death.
No, I think, I used to be a grave digger. Way back when. So I was once locked. The initiation process when I was a grave digger, although I didn't dig many graves, but they put you in a coffin, they close the top and put a nail in it and see if you scream. Absolutely right, this happened to me. I don't know whether this is why I haven't got a fear
You're putting
of death.
me on.
No, I'm not. I was a grave digger.
Wow.
I used to go and measure the plots out, just for a few weeks. But that was the initiation.